Hey guys, tonight we're diving into how medieval peasants survived the coldest nights. And trust me, it's not all cozy hearth fires and mead. Forget the romantic candlelit taverns. You're about to smell damp hay, hear your teeth chatter, and wonder if frostbite counts as a personality trait. Before you get too comfortable in your modern, centrally heated cocoon, hit that like button if you love these gritty history deep dives, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. Bonus points if your heating is currently broken. Now, dim the lights, maybe grab a blanket, you'll need it, and let's step into the year 1324. You wake up, not because the sun rose. Oh no, because the freezing air stabbed you right in the nose. Your breath is a ghost, swirling above you in the dark. The straw mattress beneath you? Damp. The blanket? More like a woolly suggestion that maybe you should be warm. Somewhere outside, a rooster crows. He's lying. It's nowhere near dawn. Your toes feel like someone swapped them for two small icicles in your sleep. You pull your tunic tighter, but it's about as insulating as a wet paper bag. And that smell? A comforting blend of smoke, manure, and the faint tang of whatever died in the barn last week. See, central heating wasn't a thing. Neither were fleece pajamas, electric blankets, or that smug little space heater you kick under your desk. Medieval peasants had to get creative. We're talking body heat from the entire family. Yes, everyone, in one bed. Parents, kids, maybe even the goat if things got desperate. Sound gross? It was. But hey, you either cuddled or you froze. Now that you've survived the first gasp of morning air, we need to talk about the real survival tactics. Fire, clothing, and a frankly disturbing amount of stew. Because if you think it's bad now, just wait until you have to fetch water from a frozen bucket. You shuffle over to the hearth. Calling it a fireplace is generous. It's basically a smoky hole in the wall where yesterday's embers are clinging to life like the last marshmallow at a campfire. You crouch down, poke at the ashes. If you're lucky, a faint glow winks back at you. If you're unlucky, you're about to spend the next 20 minutes blowing, coaxing, and praying to the ancient gods of combustion that it catches. There's no fire starter fluid, no matches, just flint, steel, and your growing sense of frost-induced despair. And remember, you can't waste wood. Trees don't grow in a day, and chopping them means going outside in this weather. Meanwhile, in 2025, you light a candle with an electric lighter and think, rustic living. Back then, you'd risk singeing your eyebrows off for a spark just so you could reheat yesterday's watery cabbage stew. And once the fire's going, you don't let it go out. Someone always stays nearby, feeding it tiny scraps, because starting from scratch at midnight is how frostbite wins. The air fills with the sharp, comforting scent of burning oak, mixed, unfortunately, with the choking tang of smoke that refuses to leave through the chimney. Your eyes water, your throat scratches, but your fingers start to feel again. The room's still cold enough to see your breath, but compared to outside, it's a tropical vacation. Now that you've got the fire alive, it's time to armor yourself against the cold. And no, we're not talking puffy jackets. Medieval peasants layered up like onions. Itchy, slightly smelly onions. You stand by the fire, warming your hands, and start the medieval version of getting dressed for the day. Spoiler, it's not cute. First comes the linen shift, your base layer. Soft? Sort of. Clean? Not unless you count hasn't been dragged through mud this week is clean. Over that, thick wool tunics. Then another, and maybe one more. You're basically wearing the medieval equivalent of 3 hoodies and still shivering. The wool smells faintly of lanolin and barn. It scratches, itches, makes you wonder if comfort was a concept invented after the Renaissance. And somewhere between these layers, a louse or two is taking a scenic tour of your neckline. Forget modern winter gear. There's no waterproof shell, no heat-trapping fleece. Your coat is a heavy cloak, maybe fur-lined if you're lucky or happen to know a generous sheep. And those furs, they smell like the animal they came from. Because, well, they're the animal they came from. Today, we argue over whether down jackets are ethically sourced. Back then, your ethics were, does it keep me alive? Great, wear it. Now that you're swaddled like a burrito in scratching medieval layers, you might think you're ready to face the day. But you've forgotten one thing. The coldest part of a winter morning isn't getting dressed, it's stepping outside. And that's where our next chapter begins. icy trek for water. Imagine hauling a bucket from a frozen well when your eyelashes are already frosted. But hey, that's survival.